And here we go again. This morning I'd like to take a quick look at ways that we can increase the speed of our computers, especially in Windows 7, also in Windows 8 and Windows 10. Little tips we can do just to enhance the operating system a little bit. The first thing that we have to do is just open up our disk drives or my computer, and we can see all the drives we have available to us as standard. So if I right click on local disk C and go to properties, we get a nice little set of menus here. The first thing I'm do is click on the disk cleanup. Let's have a look at what that would entail. It may take just a moment, there we are, to have a look. So it hasn't got a lot of rubbish in there. I do tend to keep it tidy. However, when it's finished scanning, and it could take as long as 2 or 3 minutes to scan the drive, and you have a look at the stuff that it can get rid of, then you can press OK, and that will clean out any files that it's got lurking around there. A lot of people don't tend to get rid of temporary files. Whenever you're on the internet, temporary files, they tend to clog up the computer. However, disk cleanup gets rid of that, and although in itself it doesn't make a big difference to the speed, it's less clutter that Windows has to negotiate while it's booting up and working. While we're on this page, if we have a look down the bottom here, if we don't search our computer very often, if you're maybe one of these people that just works on photographs in your collection or just goes on the internet, answer your email and come off again, then we can take this tick out of the box here, which is it's a little system that allows files on this drive to have its contents indexed in addition to file properties. And basically what it does is make a list of everything that's on the drive, so when you search for it, it makes it a little bit quicker. If you don't spend a lot of time searching your computer, take the tick out of the box and apply it. You'll get this window up once you do, which is disable indexing, and you can do it for C drive only or the subfolders as well that are in C. Now I'm not going to change it at the moment because it will take a long time just to nip through there. Well, I'd say a long time. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to go through changing the attributes, etc. that you've got. When it's done, however, you'll notice quite a considerable speed on your drive. So anyway, I'll cancel that, but normally just click OK on that and everything will be fine. Right, so we go back into the properties. That's one little way of doing things. Defragging. We used to do that a lot in Windows 95, 98, Millennium Edition, and a few others, maybe even XP used to have to go through and occasionally defrag. If you click on the Tools menu on the disk drive that we've got, you'll see that it is possible to defragment all the drives at once if you like, or not at all. These, as you can see here, it says 0% fragmented, so you don't really need to do it. But you can do it if you want. If I just analyze the disk there, it'll show you it's just analyzing what's needed. You don't have to do this. Again, if you get a disk which is fragmented, it can slow your computer down. I'll just let that go, 48%, 50, 60, coming up. And we can do each of the drives individually. So you'll notice here that you have C drive, and I have my data drives where I keep all my stuff. There's also the system reserved drive. That is the one that Windows makes when you first install Windows, which really includes all the guidance to the operating system that's stored on your C drive. There we are. It's 0% fragmented, so you don't really need to do anything. If, however, it is slightly fragmented, 2 or 3%, just click defragment the disk. It'll do 2 passes over the disk and correct any faults that it may have there. So there, it'll do a couple of passes. That's basically it on the drives. Another way to speed things up is check for errors on the drive, which is check now. You can't do C drive because you need to schedule it. You can't check the drive when it's also in use. If you do check the errors that are on the disk, it will ask you to reboot the computer. When it reboots up, you get a lot of black screen, a lot of numbers, a lot of indexing, but it will also repair and check the drive for any errors that happen to be there. C drives, etc. I mean, if I go to another drive, we'll say I'll go to the web drive here and go to properties and go to Tools and go to Check Now, you'll see that it quickly runs through the index entries and processes them. Then it'll check them, make sure everything's fine. If there's any errors, it will correct them, and you'll get a message like this that no problems are found on the device or disk. It is ready to use. Doesn't remove any data or anything, just shuffles data around to make sure it's working properly. Okay, so back to our C drive. As I say, you can't actually do that on C drive while it's still running. You have to reboot the computer and it will automatically do it on startup again. So that's one way, again, of speeding up things a little bit. There is also the option to back up your computer to disks or to a backup drive should you wish to on the backup now. Right, we've had a quick look at that. We've switched off the search indexing, we've defragged the drive, and we've checked the drive for errors. Now let's have a look at another little thing, which is power plans. Right, there are various ways to have a look at the power settings. You can right click and go to personalize, go to screensaver, and then change the power settings in there. And as you can see from this particular window, just get rid of those unwanted ones. I run on a balanced recommended. It automatically balances performance with energy consumption on capable hardware. Right, but if we have a look on the additional plans, we'll see a power saver here. Now if we click on that, that will really save you a lot of time. It'll save the power settings and switch your computer off when it's not in use, etc. and so forth. That's one way of just speeding the computer up just a little bit. I'm quite happy with the balance at the moment. Another way to get to this, if you haven't got that particular function, if you go to the the Start menu, and you put in Power Plan, it'll bring up the same page. So don't feel that if you can't right-click or you can't find it, just type in Power Plan on the Start menu, and it will bring up this particular plan. And again, there's the high performance settings that you may need to change to if you want. Okay, so that's another way of just speeding things up just a little bit. Another way is, of course, to have some more memory. If I'm just going to insert a USB memory stick. Here it is. Right, so just open that up. Nothing on it. It doesn't matter even if there was a little bit on it or a few files, it doesn't really matter, because what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at another way of increasing the memory on our computers, which is this tab here called Ready Boost. If I click on that, sometimes you may get a little message that will say you can't use this drive, and there will be a check again icon down the bottom here. Well, if you do check again, it's a 50-50 chance. Sometimes it works, sometimes it won't. Depends on the drive, I think. But it's always worth pressing the button check again. Right, so we can use this device and we can set up 2 GB or 1 GB of extra memory, or in this case this is I believe it's an 8 GB drive. Yeah, it's an 8 GB drive. I can use 4 GB as extra memory for the computer. So if I click apply, Ready Boost will gather information. Okay, and you'll see that suddenly half the drive is full, and there's our Ready Boost area. Now basically what it is Windows will use that particular area as extra memory. You have the memory in the computer of maybe 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, 16 GB, doesn't matter how much. If you want to know how much, right click on my computer and go to Properties, and it will show you here how much memory you have installed. In this case I have 16 GB. Now that 16 GB doesn't include what I've just added for Ready Boost. Basically, if you're starting to run low on memory, Ready Boost will add that 4 GB of memory to your system. Okay, you've used that and you don't want to use it anymore, and you think I'd sooner have the space on my pen because I've just used half of it. To take it off, right click, go to Properties, click on Ready Boost, and do not use this device, and click apply. It'll undo all the work it's done, and there we have an empty drive again. It's as simple as that, but it is very handy, and it does speed up the processes on the computer quite substantially, really. Another way to speed things up a little bit again is by checking the Aero theme on your computer, which does take a lot of memory, and it does slow it down. As you can see here, I have an Aero theme. It's an unsaved theme. But if we go back to some of the older classics where we're not actually using the Aero and all the rest of it, you can click onto Windows Basic or Windows Classic. Windows Classic takes but a moment to do, and there we are, it's changed the appearance. Now you haven't got all the clutter and everything that Aero produces. In other words, it's not using a lump of memory to filter out and do fancy graphics. This is just the basic setup that you have. Nothing classy about it at all. Another thing we can do while we're here and doing the same sort of thing, if I go to my computer and right click, select Properties, you can do Advanced System Settings here. And Advanced System Settings will bring up this window. And in the Performance section here, we can click on Settings. And this is a way that we can speed up the computer yet another way. We can adjust it for best performance. Okay, best appearance or best performance. Right, so best performance will give you a faster computer, and all you have to do is click Apply, and after a moment or two you get the changes. Again, there's none of this slowly building up and a sort of a zoom in effect on the windows that you open. It's just straightforward. These are your windows, they close straight away. If I was to open up something here like Zara 3D, it's just instantly there. It takes a while and shows all the corners and etc. It just speeds things up quite considerably. And if you change your mind, you think, oh, I don't really like that, click Let Windows choose what's best, click Apply, and it goes back to pretty much the way it was. There we are. Okay, but when you have done that, you have to reset your themes, etc. Windows color, clear, that's it. Save the changes. Let's find a theme, which I believe was my background pictures. There's my desktop pictures. Click on that. Click on the picture you like. Let's have Pluto. Don't forget to change your timings, how often the pictures change, and whether it does fill, fit, stretch or tile the images that you put on there. There we go. That's pretty much it for now. The little changes I've mentioned here will make a significant difference if you did them all, especially if you have a really slow computer. Other ways you can speed the computer up is by running programs like CCleaner and of course your malware bytes. Don't forget to run malware a couple of times a week just to make sure you haven't picked up any nasties off the internet. CCleaner is very good in as much as you can clean out the registry if you wish. I mean, I do this fairly regularly, and usually it may find one or two little changes, especially if I've been testing out programs or looking at programs. There's no issues with that, which is good news to me. Tools, you can add remove programs that you want to. Straightforward, it's the same as the add remove programs. I feel sometimes this is a little bit quicker, so you need to go through your list. Get to know what programs you have on this list. Have a look at what they are and see if there's any that you could maybe get rid of if you don't use them very much. Older programs, you tend to not use them and then they just stay there for unnecessarily for ages. You can set your options, you can do your cleaner, you can analyze your computer to see how much junk you have. It only takes a few moments to do. You can set this up so as you don't delete your cookies every time. You can set it so as basically everything's preserved that you want preserved. All prefetched data is a handy one to get rid of. It's surprising how much can be stored in that. That's it for now. Thank you very much for listening to this. I'll see if I can put together a little list of, or an itemized list of things you can put at the end of this demonstration so that you can maybe pause the screen and then write down that list that you can do. Thank you very much for listening. If you've enjoyed this presentation, then please click the thumbs up on the YouTube channel. And while we're on the subject, I'd just like to add a big thank you for all my regular people who have subscribed to my channel. It's always nice to see a new subscription there. It's easy to subscribe and it gives you notifications when new videos come on from the same people that you subscribe to. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll talk to you again soon.